Before all the modern diet debates, before meat was even part of the story, Eden was the original garden menu. Veganism didn't start as a trend, it started in creation. In the first chapter of Genesis, God gave Adam, Eve, and even the animals every seed-bearing plant and every green plant for food. There was no mention of animals being part of the human diet. Genesis 1:29 through 30. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. The Garden of Eden wasn't just a garden. It was the first table God set for humanity. The original diet was not built around meat. Think fresh figs, dates, grains, herbs, olives, and garden produce packed with flavor, color, and natural sweetness. This is a stark difference from today's diet. It is estimated that 85 to 90% of the population eats meat regularly or occasionally. About 5 to 8% consider themselves to be vegetarian. Only 1 to 3% of the population claims to be vegan. Though veganism was the first diet of man, God did make allowance for the consumption of meat after the flood according to Genesis 9:3. Everything that lives and moves will be for food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you all things. So why was the original diet in the Bible vegan? And why did it later change? Biblical scholars generally say the shift reflects a move from God's original ideal for humanity to a later concession due to sin, violence, and a changed post-fall world. But early church discussions about eating animals wasn't a single unified view. It ranged from near vegetarian ideals to strong defenses of meat eating. On the pro-vegan or vegetarian front, many believe Genesis 1 is proof that veganism is the ideal diet. Their main argument is that it demonstrates responsible care and stewardship that treats animals purely as resources through nonviolence and harmony within creation. They also point to prophetic images like Isaiah's peaceable kingdom, where predator and prey live together and no creature harms another, suggesting that a future restored world would look more like Eden than the post-flood age. The pro-meat supporters argue that commands like "you shall not kill" apply to humans, not animals, so eating meat is morally permitted. They believe dominion and stewardship of animals are upheld by the Mosaic Law, instituting restrictions and kosher laws to curb cruelty and define clean and unclean food standards for Israel to live by. From my perspective, the pro-meat crowd has an even greater argument by the command for Israel to eat lamb for the holy feast of Pesach, or Passover. While the debate goes on by many biblical scholars and theologians, holding up a peaceful vegetarian ideal as the highest standard and seeing the permission of meat as a temporary concession, I am of the camp that there is not one perfect diet. Everyone's body is different and dictates what it needs to live a healthy, fulfilled life. God made food for our sustenance, healing, and benefit, as it is written in Ezekiel 47:12 and Psalm 104:14-15. You can find testimony after testimony where someone's body was healed from an autoimmune disease by eating an all-vegetarian diet. You can find the same miraculous accounts from someone on a carnivore diet. What I see is that diet in Scripture was dictated by circumstances, locations, and availability. Veganism began in the abundance of produce in the Garden of Eden, establishing a foundational table for all life that was created. I believe meat was not immediately introduced into man's diet to instill a deep respect for the life of animals and our God-given role of dominion and stewardship over them. Post-flood, it is easy to imagine a transition to a carnivore diet after every plant was washed away and it would have taken time to plant and reap a new harvest. During the 40 years the Israelites wandered in the wilderness, God provided quail and manna. I see the shift in man's diet from creation to today as God doing what he has always done, providing a way where there seems to be no way, and doing it for his glory.